Welcome back. In this module, we'll be exploring the different design components that KX dashboards have to offer. We'll begin by creating this dynamic pivot table, which will showcase how widgets can be linked together, enabling dynamic interactions where selections in one component update data across multiple visualizations in real time. Let's start by dragging the pivot grid component onto the canvas and create a new data source called pivot. We'll be selecting these columns from the trade data table, making sure the pivot query is selected in the top right hand corner. We will break down the data by type, month, asset and trader while calculating the average of the return column. Let's execute this query. Next, let's drag the breadcrumbs component onto the canvas and click to create a new path. Create a new view state called link, which is of type symbol, and the default can be left empty. Click Visible Breadcrumbs and create a new view state. Name the view state Breakdown. Change the type to List and list the chosen breakdown columns. We now want to link the pivot grid to the breadcrumbs component, so we'll start by hovering over the eye icon and selecting the breakdown view state. Finally, to link the breadcrumbs component to the pivot grid, add the link view state to the focus property. Now let's add some visuals. Start by dragging a pie chart component below the pivot grid. Use the same data source pivot and add the link view state to the focus property. And change the series key, which is under the data dropdown, from type to breakdown ID. Let's add a second chart, this time being a canvas chart. Again, we'll be using the same data source pivot, and we want to change the type of chart from line to bar. Also change the y-axis to return. To add colour to the chart, add a highlight rule and enter the following selections. This means the bar will turn red for any values that are below 0. And finally, add the link view state to the focus property. The final step is to add a drop-down list for an additional way to filter the data. Start by dragging the drop-down list component above the pivot grid. Change the label to say breakdown and choose the selected value to be the breakdown view state. Now let's manually add our 4 items. And that's it. Now we can test our pivot grid.